Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Tour de France 2023. This is episode number 17. Let me just rip a band-aid off here and get straight into a topic that I've been thinking a lot about here with 15k to go on stage number 2 in the opening race of the season. The game is meant to be played in a certain way. Realism calls for something different. Looking for an intersection of the two, I've been unhappy with what those particular options offer. I'm not finding a balance that is satisfying. Nothing wrong with the comments themselves. Absolutely nothing wrong. I get it. I understand it. Many of you are expressing that the only way to be successful with this game is to use the team comms. Many of you get that. Okay, fine. I am pro leader. I am this rider. I'm Decathlon Gamer. This game does this way too much. It's not disconnected. Get that I'm going to play as my one rider and not take control of other riders to progress the team. I am progressing as one particular rider as the mode should call for it. It's pro leader mode, not career mode. But then the necessity to use the team comms. I understand the team comms being available and being a thing and utilizing them. And I more or less know how to use them in the game, not quite properly. A lot of the commands I do try to give when I do try to give commands don't quite function how I intend, or they don't do it. A lot of the orders seem a little bit wonky in the way it's built, but that's not entirely unique to Pro Cycling Manager either, so I get it. But when it comes to career mode, PCM absolutely demolishes TDF in terms of depth, the options of what it adds to a playthrough. The year after year cycle of that is amazing. There's hardly a race in this game. There's hardly a thing to manage. There's no progression to be had. So for me, Pro Leader seems to be the option. Now, of course, in PCM, in the Pro Cyclist mode, you're controlling that one rider. There is no option to control the others. And the only time that you give commands to others is if you're the leader. And that's realistic. That mode, since its inception, 6-7 years ago now, has hardly seen a change. But they absolutely got that right on a realism factor. If you are an 18-year-old just starting out, you're not a team leader. Now, one nice thing about PCM is that you have Continental Pro, and then you have your World Tour. 3.4k to go here. I may struggle with this as I'm a little distracted with the topic, but I'm going to go ahead and use my gel, and I think this is where I'm supposed to tell the rest of my team to use their gels too. I'm the weakest rider on the team. Why would I be giving them commands? It destroys the immersion if I'm giving orders as the weakest rider around to the rest of my team. Automatic AI control means they should be performing how they would in real life. And it's immersion breaking for me if I am telling better riders than myself what to do. 1.3k, we are approaching the end. I'm in a great position. I have 0 red bar right now though, so we are going to try to use that gel, and if it's going to actually use it, there it goes, to give me a little bit of life. 700 meters. I am well placed here, but I don't see how I'm going to have anything to sprint with. There's all the gel I have. 400 meters. Let's go for it. Come on. Is the difficulty really... It's the difficulty, apparently. It's the difficulty. I just got my first freaking win. I turn it down, and just like that, we dominate the KOM one day, and we come back and win a stage for the first time the next day. That changes things, but let me finish the discussion here. I am very firmly of the camp of I want realism. I want a game that's going to offer realism and a challenge. The Pro Cyclist mode in PCM does that. But this game actually puts you in the saddle, in control, and it gives you something that PCM doesn't. But if it doesn't give you the realism to go with it, if the only way to progress the game is by cheesing the system, by controlling riders that are better than yourself because you're not good enough to do something. The biggest flaw, I think, of this game is the fact that there's just not enough stage content. There's not enough races out there for you to compete in at the appropriate levels. What this game desperately needs is even a fraction of the depth of PCM. I mean, technically it has a fraction of it, right? But not this absurdly small fraction. What we have is a sequence of world races, and we don't have much beyond that. What we're in here, okay, fine. We don't have Pogacar, we don't have Vingegaard. You're missing a few key pieces, but you're otherwise still very much going up against Marc Soler, Champs-Elysées, Jorgensen, Tish Benoot, Jan Hurt. That entire top 10 are all capable World Tour riders. Good World Tour riders. So there is no, you started in Continental and you build up. And with that one, with that Pro Cyclist mode in PCM, you have phases where you're a support rider for your team, and then you start to level up as you do the work you have to do, and then suddenly you're good enough to be good at a Continental level. So you're competing as a leader because you've quickly outclassed your teammates, and then you're competing at the Continental level as a competitive rider. So you have a chance to be a leader. You have a chance to give orders to others. You have a chance to go out and succeed. And then you get promoted. You make it on a Continental Pro team. But you're no longer the leader because you're no longer as good as the riders around you. And so you're back to being a domestique. You put the dirty work in. You level up a little bit more. You get competitive again. You take over as leader. You give orders to your team. And then you go through that phase once again as you reach World Tour until you not only compete at weaker races World Tour, but you compete on the grandest scale, depending on what your discipline is, say the Tour de France, as a GC rider. That progression goes through phases as you move up the ladder. This game doesn't have a ladder to go up. You start out as an inferior rider. Why should the inferior rider be giving commands to others? Just does not make sense. It doesn't add up. I'm not Lance Stroll, whose daddy goes out and buys a mother effing racing team just so that I can get a seat because I'm not good enough. By the way, he is good enough now, after many years. It took a while. He's still not great. He's still slightly below average as a driver. Daddy had to go buy a team for him to be successful. We're not that. We didn't buy this team to make me successful. I'm not wanting to give commands to others. So I totally get it that the way this game is built, that is how you must succeed, through the other riders. I would have preferred, I wish that I could have stayed on 3-star difficulty to progress, but apparently dropping it down to 2-star difficulty did the trick. It was enough. And if I level up a little bit more, 2 things can happen. I'm no longer the worst on the team. I get better, and therefore, I can feel comfortable giving commands to teammates. By the way, right at the end of that one, I did send a rider to protect me. That's kind of immersion breaking for me. I'm the weakest guy on the team. I should be protecting him, not the other way around me. So for me to get protection from somebody else, okay, fine, awesome. I went on and won. Did I deserve it? I wasn't the best rider. If I'm the manager of that team, I'm not assigning him to protect me. And that's just, I do care about that. I do care about those details. I do despise Manchester City for breaking rules. I do despise Chelsea for breaking rules. I will despise the team that I have grown up a fan of, Manchester United, if they are suddenly owned a state-owned club. I will not be a fan of them anymore. I do have my underdog team in Brighton that I love, and in Swansea that I love. I will support them. I will forego my support of Manchester United if they go that route. I do think morality 100% has a place in sports. I want to win, and I want to win the right way. I've picked up some serious points for that one. In fact, at the moment, I'm the highest ranked rider in the world. 23 points on the season so far. 2 stages into the season. That won't last, obviously, especially with just a 3-race calendar. But could this be a ticket, a path forward to adding a couple races to the calendar for next season? For me, it's going to be necessary. The immersion breaking of this game is a game breaker for me, and I just cannot get into a game if the only path forward is unrealistic. As a coach, as a manager in the immersion sector, we finally have a scenario that actually makes sense. I am the proper leader on a day like this, or at least co-leader. Best climber, that's your leader. Polka dot jersey wearer, second place overall, tied for best time with a sprinter who you know won't make it to the top. Only a point or two worse as a climber than anybody else. That seems like good circumstances. Also being the fact that I just won a stage and I'm high placed in the GC. The likelihood that I attack and don't get chased, probably not happening. So we change tactics here, ride for the stage. And therefore, under those circumstances, now it's appropriate for a rider to protect us. As we head into this stage with limited fatigue, so I've done well there. Suddenly, I've got a Grossschartner to ride protection, and we'll see what we can do. And on a day like this, I can give commands to some guys. Though I do need to pick out a climber to be kind of the proper leader. Schultz has a 76 mountain. So does Van Hoek. Tough to say with 4 guys to kind of properly choose from. You have a 76 mountain for Schultz, but weak stamina. You only have a 75 for Lopez, but he's got a 78 medium mountain, and this could fall into the medium mountain category more so than a mountain rating. So he's got a bonus there, and the best stamina of the 4 guys. So I think we might be choosing a Jose Lopez for this one. Certainly Van Hoek would be kind of a next best option, but using up the team to support Lopez and myself seems to be the best route forward. I definitely do not have their ratings, but I have the recovery A, and I do have the position and the mountain points that just go, hey, we got a +3 bonus. You protect a jersey wearer because they've earned that jersey, and then you protect them as best you can, even though you know that your real leadership lies with somebody else. So support both. Lopez has fallen and is withdrawn from the race. Just as we're approaching the feed zone here, I'm trying to use up my gel to get back to full strength, and we've just lost our leader. All the more reason to change tact and focus on someone else. 50k to go. Handling a descent right now. The breakaway of 4 is picking up the KOM points today, and there's a decent amount of them available. But the guys that are competing for it don't have the points necessary to catch up after I got that win on stage 2 and had a very successful stage 1 in the KOM. So I've got a pretty commanding lead there. The one thing that can change that is the final climb, as it's a category 1. Definitely more points available. I don't know exactly how many. I'm guessing about 10. Definite chance for me to lose the jersey on the final climb. And we're going for it anyway, so there you go. With Lopez out of the race, Van Hoek, who is looking the best, the strongest on the day so far, and is definitely one of those 3 remaining leaders available, is the guy who has been reassigned as the other leader, including myself. So Grossschartner has been protecting me. Martinez, who is looking a bit weaker today, is protecting Van Hoek. Schultz will take over protection of one of the 2 of us when the time comes.
30 seconds between the breakaway and the yellow
full gels available, and this is just about it. There's not much descending left. We're going to be climbing most of the rest of the way in this one, taking it easy for the time being. My ambitions for today are probably optimistic. A bit too optimistic. It's not going to happen. It's not like that last stage where it's a short, punchy one. And I'm okay as a puncher. My mountain rating's really not there yet. And there's a fair bit of climbing to come. So I don't think I'm going to fare too well. But with protection, with the difficulty turned down a level, we'll see how well we can perform on a day such as this. Now everybody's fresh enough for now to get through this climb okay, including Groschartner. Conchi takes 2 points this time. That's good that splits those up a little bit. Wasn't the same guys every time. It's only a minute 20 to that breakaway, so they're not a threat for the GC. Not terribly well positioned right now, but that's because there's a lot of riders. Oh, there's another crash just to my right there. There's not any teammates this time involved. $15.7K for the climb, 6.3%. Hard to say for sure, but I think the length will put us into mountain rating and not medium mountain rating for this one. Means Van Hoek at a 76 really is one of the strongest. It's just that stamina element. And I'm still the weakest one here. But again, this time it actually makes sense as I sit second in the GC. Have the KOM, you know, there's reasons to support me as a rider. Okay, definitely through the base portion of the climb. We're at 6% right now. We're going to get into a little bit more of a gradual climb section here. Is the breakaway caught already? We're down to 25 in the peloton. There's been a split in the field. There has been a split in the field here. Yeah. Breakaway has been caught, and the field has split with just 25 left in the group. 5 of them being from our team. Groschartner is not going to last much longer. We're going to tell him to consume his other gel here in just a moment. There we go. It's going fast. Consume the red gel. Nope, that didn't really help him. He is gone from the group. Okay, I think we're at a good time as things accelerate. With 7K to go, we're about to get into the steeper section, and we're going to tell everyone to consume their gels. 5.3K. Everybody's used up their gel. Everybody's restored that energy a little bit. Hanging in there. Let's take in the action. I'm going to start kind of steadying my tempo here. Last 10 riders, by the way.
1 minute ahead of the yellow jersey.
The yellow jersey's already gone. 3.7K left. Apparently there's a 5-second gap between us, even though it's like one wheel.
Less than 3 kilometers from the finish, no one has managed to gain the upper hand. If no one attacks, it will be decided in a sprint. Watch out, there's an attack.
There you go, back together, officially. $2.4K. 8 riders left in the group. 7 riders left in the group. Still, everyone remains. Lenny Martinez is nearly out of energy. Let's tell him to consume his red gel.
Many in a breakaway, as the others will not necessarily want to cooperate.
Okay, that seems to have worked out. Schultz is not going to last much longer, but we're hanging in there, folks. We're hanging in there late in this race. $1.3K. I don't have a lot left in the tank, but we certainly have some.
The leading men will soon be under the red pennant. Who will come out on top today?
He's putting his foot on the pedal because he's a danger to the overall standing.
down to 4.
He's still got some.
Martinez has been dropped. But 3 of the 4 riders here are ours, and it's Marc Soler with us. Is this where I tell Van Hoek to attack? And then I will follow Soler.
His foot down in the relay. Come on, give it everything you've got. Believe it.
And he's gone clear. 300 meters.
Otherwise, you'll hit the wall.
We're going to go take second place. Van Hoek takes the win. I take second. And Schultz takes third. Are you kidding me? We just got a 1-2-3 finish. Difficulty level, folks. Difficulty level. The difference between second and third level it's a pretty mega difference, isn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, applaud him loudly. Here is today's stage winner.
Now, I told Van Hoek to attack and did not attack myself because A, he was fresher, B, he's the better climber, better puncher, and he puts Lopez under pressure. Or, or was it Moss? Who were we riding behind? Anyway, makes it possible for me to ride the wheel and hang on when I only had a little bit of energy left. Makes sense for one of your leaders under those circumstances to attack, and you take the freshest, strongest one to do so, to go for that victory. It's not about the selfish reasoning of trying to take that victory for ourselves. It becomes about, what can we get out of that? Tamar takes the points classification. I should have the KOM. Second across the line, should have definitely done it. And that is it. So I do have the best climber classification. So I've got a stage win. I've got a podium. I've won the King of the Mountains. I didn't see who took the overall. Was it Van Hoek? I do get the Young Rider classification as well. I may have won the overall. Here's why. The previous stage win got me a 10-second time bonus. Here, I finish 8 seconds down on Van Hoek. He gets a 10-second time bonus, but I also get a 6-second time bonus. So the combination means he gains 12 seconds on me today, right? 10 plus, 4 plus 8. That's 12. I think Van Hoek does win the overall. I think I take second in the overall. Soler is the one who finishes third, but Schultz and Martinez, 4th and 5th. Martinez recovered for 5th place in that. But such is the advantage of giving commands and telling them to use their gels at appropriate times. Look how much stronger we were than everybody else. Is the difficulty that big of a difference? Or is it simply the AI doesn't use their gel at all? You use your gel at the right time and poof, you're that much better than everybody else. But then again, I suppose I do that in PCM too. In career mode, where I'm managing a whole team. Not the pro cyclist mode, where you're the weaker one and you don't give commands. When you're the stronger one and you're given leadership, you give commands. And that's why I did that here. But it just like that, we are that much stronger. I did my math correctly. Van Hoek claims the overall victory. I get second. Soler is third. Schultz is fourth. Martinez is fifth. That's going to be worth a whole lot of points. 19 points in the KOM. Van Hoek finishes second. Overall in the points classification, DeMar takes the victory, but I was second there as well. Young rider classification, first for me. Martinez gets second. Team classification, 20 minutes ahead of everybody else. And despite everything, I still win the combativity classification, as stage 1 was the longest of the 3 stages, and I picked up a whole lot of kilometers in that first stage, and no one went out there and repeated. The guy we were with in the breakaway in stage 1 finished second in the classification. You had 2 different sets of breakaway riders in the second and third stages. As a result, I pick up a whopping 65 points just today for 88 on the season, already shattering our record just one race in. Van Hoek picks up 42 points today and for this race. Schultz picks up 22. Martinez picks up 18. And as a team, we have 1 270 points through one race. This will not stand as the best overall this season, not even close, but this has already nearly doubled our points haul from any previous season and could and should move us up. And if we do well in the next 2 races that we participate in, if we get well over 200 points, it's going to move us up a spot or 2 in the rankings or more, and could see us actually finally get into some additional races in the coming seasons. The overall progression for me as a rider, though, actually rather small. Finish a stage, we got our 40th stage win. We're at 50% of the overall. We'll win a hilly stage. That one did come in handy. So what have I picked up? Resistance, hill, and sprint. Let's check those out. 1 for resistance. That's that finish the 40th stage. Hills, that's an obvious one. Win a hilly stage. We got a point for that. We're now at 74 overall. And sprint, win a hilly stage. So a point there. So for the same reasoning. That progression does bring me to a 74 overall. Possible that I could have gotten that medium or mountain bonus for winning a stage there, but that's okay. We did the right thing in giving the win to Van Hoek. Not going to be selfish and cheese the game in my direction. Claimed 5 of the 6 possible rewards in that race. It was huge progress. Massive step in the right direction. The difficulty level looks like fit somewhere in between right now. Average difficulty is a bit too easy for me. That next difficulty level, without cheesing the game anyway, seems a bit out of reach. Once I do progress enough that I find myself a bit better and we find ourselves in some more races, more happening, I think I'm going to happily turn it back up at some stage, because I do think that I can be competitive. Once I'm the leader and utilizing the team, we could make use of that and be effective. I'd like to get back to that difficulty, but for now, this seems to be where we can progress, and progress hopefully faster, because I don't want to be on an endless loop of the same 3 races and never progressing and having no path forward. Here's our path forward. It'll work for now. It'll get us where we need to go. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.